Hey there YouTube, Travis here, and today I thought I'd make a quick video of my 1980 Sachs G3. I've actually had this bike for a while, but it's not until recently that it really got running well, and it's got quite a story behind it. So it might actually be slightly bigger than a Puch Magnum. This bike is probably one of the more desired Sachs bikes, I suppose, for a couple reasons. Obviously it's a top tank, it's got a neat coaster brake, but also the 505D motor, yes. So as you can see with the 25 mile per hour sticker, this was originally an A motor. And I believe that's the original A bottom end right there. A friend of mine purchased this a couple years ago from Rob K of Moped Central. And it was in sort of running shape when he picked it up. And it's come a long way since then. But it came with the D top end on it and an A bottom end. So last winter, Will and I rebuilt the bottom end of the motor with a proper D crankshaft, and he also put in a D clutch donut on that side. And that was pretty cool. The pipe it came with was kind of falling apart, and so long before Will and I got our hands on it, my buddy, who Rob originally sold it to, put on this pipe. This is the MLM, I believe it's the People's Pipe, but I could be wrong. It's been so long, for the Sachs G3, and it's pretty cool because this pipe is specifically made for the G3. It bolts right into the back there, which is pretty neat. So I got this awesome top end pipe combined with the D motor. And it had not the original square bing that was on there, it still retained the original intake, but the intake's been flipped forward and currently has a 14 bing, round bing, Puch style, that I had lying around. I whipped up that air filter recently. It's really just an open filter. That's just to keep dust and rocks and stuff like that from getting in there too easy. But intake's been flipped and it's pretty cool. Measured it with some calipers and it is a true 14mm intake. Flipped it, had to Dremel it a little bit to match up nice right there, but it decided to play nice, and so got this cool front-facing 14mm intake and a 14 bing. So it's a top tank with these awesome mag wheels, 40 mile per hour Speedo. Again, because this is a Sachs, you've got a jug instead of a traditional cylinder and head. I think it makes like an 8:1 compression ratio, which would normally be pretty hard to start, which is why they have this Decomp Assembly right here. Went ahead and went through the clutch, did the patented Will Harrison steak knife treatment to some of the glazed over discs from our original video for taking apart a Sachs clutch. This was actually the bike he kind of experimented on before we shot that video. We did choose to re-gear it a little bit. This wheel still had the gearing for the A setup. And we jumped down like 4 or 5 teeth, but it ended up dialing in perfect with the setup we've got going on here. And yes, before you ask, I do have the 2 G3 panels that go right here, but it never came with side covers, and those have proved to be a true unicorn part. I cannot get my hands on Sachs G3 plastic side covers for the life of me. I mean, there's a set that sits on eBay for $200, but I mean, that's half of what my friend paid for the bike originally, so we will see. Sachs from Germany. We also had to do a POR 15 treatment on the tank because it was pretty badly rusted when we got it, but it's nice and silvery inside there now. And so if I'm going to rant a little bit about it, things I don't like about it, well, this one happens to have the Sachs 3-wire setup. So instead of 5 wires coming out of the stator, there's 3. And this is giving me a lot of grief with my brake light. So not only are the switches and the light grounded through the ignition circuit, but they're split off in so many ways because there's only 3 wires that if you get any sort of voltage irregularity, it'll give you a bad ground, and whenever you hit the front or the rear brake, it'll kill the motor. So currently troubleshooting that. Will D of the Swoops has a pretty nice write-up on Moped Army for getting around that. I just need to take the time to do it. And it's tuned actually pretty well. Once you get into the power band of that pipe, it hits hard, and it's pretty awesome, as you'll see here in a minute. But just kind of hit a wall tuning it. Hit a point where with the 78 main jet, it idled like a dream, but it didn't quite get up to full speed. With the 80 jet, the idle was too rich, and it would stall unless you turned it up all the way, which is what I have right now. And top end is tuned perfectly. And of course with an 82 we got some four-stroking, so we knew that was too rich. So solution, and maybe I'll make a YouTube video about it, is to either do the Bing slide mod, where you drill a small hole in the throttle slide to get yourself a little bit of leaner condition on the idle, or Treats actually just started selling odd size Bing jets, so I might just pick up a 79. We'll see. But in the meantime, it's still ripping right now, and it's a beautiful day out, so we should go for a ride. What a bike. Alright there, YouTube. Well, hope you enjoyed that quick little video. Until next time.